So this picture depicts how the land reforms were set up. So originally, the king would give his land to his nobles, and his nobles would then promise the king that they would supply military service, and then the nobles would give a portion of their land to the knights. And in return, the knights would fight for the nobles, and then the peasants were the ones at the lowest um, tier that worked the land in return for protection of them.
So, who initiated these land reforms? The communist government of Kerala, led by E.M.S. Namuriti Bhatt, in 1957. Land reforms were primarily initiated by the state governments. One of the notable figures include Jyoti Basu in the West Bengal state.
So, what were land reforms? Land reforms aim to redistribute land, provide tenancy rights, and abolish feudal landholding systems, such as depicted in the picture that was shown earlier. For example, in Creole in Tamil Nadu, large acres of plantations were given to the people. In West Bengal, such things as mills, factories, farms were also given to the people. Not only those were given to the people, but transportation and other activities were given to them as well.
When did these land reforms take place? In Kerala, it was initiated by the first major land reform in 1957, and also the Kerala Land Reforms of Act of 1963, and also in other states such as West Bengal, it was initiated by Operation Bagra, which began in 1978 under the Left Front government. In Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Bihar, and UP, reforms were introduced between 1950s and 1970s, but there were different kinds of implementations in those states.
So, why were these land reforms implemented? First reason is social inequality, as few landlords owned vast tracts of land, while millions of landless laborers worked on that land. Um, There was an exploitation of the farmers, as tenant farmers were forced to pay high rents to the landlords but did not get their agreed upon deal of protection. They had low agricultural productivity, so there was an inefficient large estates that were not producing enough goods, while the landless laborers had no incentive to improve their farming. And then their fourth and final reason was to promote social justice, as post independence India aimed to create a more equal society throughout the land reforms.
Did they succeed? In Kerala, it did reduce the poverty, but the redistribution was incomplete. Out of 700 hectares, only 25,000 hectares were actually distributed to the people, and there was a breach in agreement between tribal and non-tribal people over land developments, facilities, and other things in their own lands. In West Bengal, it was partially successful because Operation Bagra did improve tenant security, productivity, but it did not lead to significant land contribution. In other states, it was limited success, while Samhita abolition helped and land distribution was weak due to legal loopholes and political resistance.
So here we want to focus on the big events that happened in the land reforms. The first event was in 1957, which was Carial's first communist government initiated a radical land reform policies, and then in 1963 the Carial Land Reform Act was passed. And then through 1969 through 1970, further amendments in Carial ensured tenant ownership. And then in 1978, Operation Barga in West Bengal secured the tenancy rights. 1957 and the 1970s, various states attempted land sealing laws with mixed results.
So, what was the side effects of these implements? As the communist government tried to implement these things, most of the land were not given to the people, which the several agreements talked about. Only 25 hectares out of 700 hectares were given to people. The communist government used these land reforms in a way to import illegal goods such as drugs and do other illegal stuffs and hide their scandals.